when I'm skiing, you know, my soul's happy, and it's just because it's what I love to do. So there's nothing I'd rather be doing than skiing, and I mean, I was raised by a family that skied a lot, and so no, it's my passion, and I mean, it's pretty much all I've known, and that's kind of the cornerstone of my life. My parents were both ski coaches when I was little, so yeah, my mom was pregnant with me, and she was skiing around and coaching, and yeah, so I started when I was 2. And my mom said that she put me down for the first time, and I just took off straight down the hill.
He never learned to turn. I just ski in front of him and say, "We're going over here," and we're going over here, and so that's how you learn. Once in a while, it got away from me. Uh-oh, we forgot to go over here.
Both parents pushed me a lot when I was younger, you know, and then all my friends were skiers too, so we pushed each other.
I had this philosophy about how to ease somebody into it so they enjoy the sport rather than resist. You know, you resist what your parents tell you.
Sometimes he'd be a little tough, you know, just drills and drills and drills. But you know, there were great times too. I remember one day where he actually came by school, pulled me out of school because there's 3 feet of fresh powder.
This is up in the mountains. Like, we spend a lot of time in the mountains. And we had lots of dogs, golden retrievers, and then there's this wonderful picture of him skiing there, coming down looks like a downhill. No, he doesn't have a helmet on. I thought he'd be a world champion in my, you know, my wish list, but that was not happening, so I didn't realize that it would come out to be the powerful significance that it is for him now.
You just want to push yourself and become the best skier that you can be. You know, it seems like everybody has like a hit list of things that they want to do. I've looked at the Grand for a while, and you know, definitely wanted to ski it.
It's the highest peak in the range. It stands out. Anywhere in the valley, you see it. It's there.
You see this great edifice of that nature has made, and you go, I have to go up that. I have to get to the top and see what's on the other side.
For climbers and skiers, it's an obvious objective, and it's an obvious mountain to kind of focus your energy or ambitions towards.
This isn't getting any bigger or more exposure or more dangerous or, you know, than that.
I looked for years on trying to figure out how you could ski it, and finally figured it out, and you know, I'm gonna go ski the Grand.
For anyone who has an adventuresome spirit, you need that. You need to always try to push yourself, you know, to say, you know, this is a goal of mine. This is something I want to try to do. And it kind of keeps you alive.
If you look up there, you can see that you know, one snowfield like connects kind of to another snowfield, which connects to a couloir, and yeah, so it's definitely skiable.
I think he mentioned skiing the Teton, and I found that fascinating. I was kind of curious as to what route it was like and the conditions and the risk, but no, he doesn't talk a lot about risk-taking to me.
So when you're skiing in really exposed terrain, there is no backup. You're basically free soloing, climbing without a rope.
And you can't fall. It's not like, well, if I fall, I have to do it. No, there's not even like, then falling's not an option in that sense, because if you do, you just can't do it. You're dead. If you fall, you die. So
the average skier, there's not a chance.
The one thing I'll say about the Grand, and you know, there's been plenty of accidents up there.
I have a good friend who died trying to ski the Grand.
That's just the way it is, but there's certain people that like to live their lives that way, you know? That's that kind of challenge. You know, one mistake and it's all over, you know? So there are no mistakes that day.
It's not something you just get to go and do anytime you want. You know, you don't just wake up on Wednesday and say, I'm gonna go ski that particular thing. You may wait 5 years for it to come into shape, and it's a gift, you know, once-in-a-lifetime gift to be able to ski something like that.
When you finally accomplish something that you see as being right at your limit, I don't think there's any greater satisfaction from that.
That's part of the allure of it, to be totally in the moment and overcoming something you're not sure you can do, and that kind of thing.
I wish Hunter all the luck in the world for what he's trying to do, and good luck, Hunter, you know?
I've never skied the Grand because I don't have the mountaineering skills to get up there. But Dan does, and he's going to help me get up there and ski it.
I support my ski mountaineering habit through painting, commercial, residential, interior, exterior. Anything that needs to be painted, I'll do it. That's pretty much it.
For a lot of people, when you ask them, what do you do? A lot of people immediately answer with what their employment is, what their job is. I feel like Dan's the kind of person, when you ask him, what do you do? He's gonna talk about skiing, he's gonna talk about mountaineering.
I work with him every day, so I know his work mode and his mountain modes, and he's definitely, you see his true spirit in the mountains.
To myself, I'm not just a painter. I'm somebody who paints so I can do these other things as well.
Some people are meant to be lawyers, doctors, you know, and teachers, and Dan, he's happiest when he's climbing.
The mountains give my life legitimacy. Without them, I'm just another guy who is making a living getting by. The mountains give me purpose and enable me to be great. Yeah.
Hunter is a very skilled skier. At the local ski area where everybody skis, he's definitely one of the top guys.
He's been skiing at a high level for a lot longer than almost anybody around.
That is his drive. I mean, Hunter loves it so much that he's still a kid in a candy store when it comes to getting up in the mountains every day. So, I mean, and to suppress that, I think it's impossible. I don't think you can suppress a passion like that.
Hunter has an amazing ski style. He's probably one of the more beautiful all-around skiers that there is. Take any conditions on any slope, and he can ski it smooth. He doesn't look like he's even trying. He's just kind of, somehow Hunter just has his nice, just gentle, just skiing touch. And you just don't see anybody like that.
Been in Jackson for a while. It wasn't just your normal 1 or 2 years hiatus between college and real world. But I mean, I don't regret it. It's been a lot of fun.
Hunter, because of the lifestyle he's chosen for the last probably 15 years, you know, he hasn't excelled in some other areas of his life. Like, I mean, he's worked in a ski shop and he's worked in a restaurant.
I mean, it's a subsistence living, but you get to ski every day, so.
He always talks about how successful he is in his skiing, and I say, yeah, but that's really nice. What about the rest of your life?
There's a huge sense of accomplishment with my skiing. You know, it does, I don't know, it's definitely just one aspect of your life. But for me, it's, you know, what I like to focus on.
Yeah, if he doesn't get it out of his system by now, when would be a good time for him to get it out of his system? And you never get it out of your system, we put it aside.
Well, each year that I worked here, I'd say I wasn't coming back the next year. And I'd still come back, and then, yeah, I'm applying to dental school right now, so.
If he had a passion for dentistry like he has for skiing, he'd be one of the best dentists in the world.
Seems like Hunter always has gone and went to school for little sabbaticals down in Reno, and then he's back. You know, I say, where's Hunter? Oh, he'll be back when the snow flies. Just wait and see. Hunter will be back.
You know, would he become the best 68-year-old bartender by day or night and tune skis when he's not out backcountry skiing? I don't know. If that's his life, I wish him well, but that's not normally the way I perceive our way of contributing to this planet.
Well, we all take a little longer to figure, like, make a change. So I think he's probably just, it's hard to make changes sometimes.
What's the point here? The Grand, has anybody else have done that? Is that a first descent? I don't know. Okay, so now then. I just like to see things moving. If I were him, I would want it for my life than this, the snow under my boots. I'm not Hunter. I just give him as little advice as fatherly possible without pissing him off, so I try.
I know it's hard for my dad to understand, but skiing is what I love to do, and it's my passion.
What differentiates the skiing on the Grand from the kind of technical skiing that Hunter does is the climbing and the fatigue.
Make sure it's good before you move up on it. You want to hear that thud? Nice, resounding. Hunter needs to prepare for this, and and he's a good skier, so he's got that part figured out. He's a pretty athletic guy, so he's got that part figured out. So I'm gonna need to take him out somewhere else where we can practice ice climbing and the use of ice tools before we put ourselves in such a exposed situation. If you hear it cracking like that, then that's, you want to replace it, yeah. You don't want to trust that.
The Grand is steep on all sides, no easy way up, technical everywhere, holds snow and ice year-round. It can be pretty intense. You're climbing, you're hoping nothing will come down on top of you, you're cold.
No, there's no flying up there in a helicopter and getting dropped off and going for a ski. You got to climb it, and that in and of itself, I think, is quite an accomplishment.
Swing from the spout ear, keep the head of the hammer from your ear, and then just snap it forward with the wrist.
In the lower section of the center couloir are 3 ice bulges you need to negotiate, which are you would call cruxes.
Well, an ice bulge is where the snow melts, water comes out over a huge rock and forms like a blue ice bulge. You just have 2 ice axes, one in each hand, and you're only driving them in maybe a centimeter, and you're hoping that ice holds. So I don't really know what's going to hold and what's not. And so that's definitely a little scary. If you fall there, you're going to probably tumble close to 2,000 feet, pinballing off the walls of the couloirs.
Falling is not really an option due to the sharp tools. 2 sharp tools, 12 points on each foot. If you fall, it can make for an ugly mess, broken ankles, stabbings, that kind of a thing.
So it's definitely, they say don't fall.
I was just going to use one of the ones we had. That thing will just sit in the bottom until we come down, huh? Mm-hmm.
When you get up high and you get to look down on everything, it gives you a totally different perspective, So I think that's what makes it cool. not everybody can get up there. You know, it's a special place for only a few who dare go for it, you know, to give it a shot.
It's a place where people die and you could fall, but that's why we go up there. And it's the adventure. I kind of feel like the closer you are to death, the more alive you feel, or I feel.
Sometimes, despite all your years of experience in the mountains and all of your skills, you can either make one bad decision that precipitates into a catastrophic situation, or you are just unlucky.
You know, you can only fall so far, and then you're gonna die, so try not to fall.
Oh, I hope I don't fall. I don't want to die. I don't want to make Mom mad.
You have to go into the mountains and have a lot of respect.
I think mountains have a lot to teach you, and there's so much to learn about yourself when you head into the mountains. There's no way to hide from yourself in the mountains.
You can really kind of judge for yourself what you're made of and kind of put yourself against Mother Nature.
Like, every single thing I'm doing is directly related to my well-being and my safety. You know, you don't normally get to do that when you're just walking around.
I think everybody understands the risks, and but there's kind of, you know, that's where we find life.
After 15 years of skiing in its shadow, finally this ski season, this coming winter, I'm gonna make my attempt to ski the Grand.
You know, winter here starts at the end of summer.
I definitely get giddy when winter's coming.
It's getting cold, it's snowing, you know, it's the days are starting to get really chilly.
You get the white up on the mountaintops at like 9,000 feet, and then kind of next storm it moves down a little lower. And
I'm enjoying the last days of warmth is what I'm really enjoying at this point.
You know, you've been waiting all year for that day to be able to put your skis back on, quit the regular job, start spending all that money you've been hard saving all summer.
And here's Chief Meteorologist Jim Woodmansey with your weather forecast.
Well, Brian, it looks like a ridge of high pressure is going to stay over us and keep us warm and dry into next week. And I really don't see any new snow coming our way until after the middle of this month.
People freak out when the snow doesn't come, you know what I mean? It's,
Well, I get rode pretty hard. It's pretty amazing how quickly they will get on you when it doesn't snow.
A lot of drinking. A lot of drinking on a bad snow year.
And when there's not much snow, you're not having a great winter, you're like, you know, I could have been off, like starting a career or doing something with my life.
Well, finally, a storm system's going to bring us some snow here to Jackson Hole. This one looks really good for us, and I would expect snowfall amounts around 2 feet of new snow.
If it's going to be cold, it may as well be snowing. And if it's going to snow, it may as well snow a lot.
It's just amazing to be out back on the mountain again and skiing.
Well, powder skiing's an addiction. There's no doubt about it. It's as good as any drug. I'm not speaking from experience, of course.
It's just like being, like the skis are just an extension of your body. When you're out there skiing, you can just feel every turn.
There must be something to it because people are out here paying $70 a day to do it. So, you know, there must be something to it.
Amazing freedom of just floating, just kind of doing real subtle movements to totally change where you are or your position, or that feeling is just, you know, just makes your mind, brain just.
It's the only sport where you're going to be pretty much standing on your own 2 feet going 60 miles an hour with the option to jump cliffs.
It's almost an outer body experience. It probably is an outer body experience.
Feeling is just so great that you have to.
9 months out of the year, I'm in that state of anticipation where I'm wanting it and needing it, and it's not there. And then when it is there, I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pushing the limits, and you know, that something could go wrong, but you know, that's where a lot of the fun comes in.
Big, massive crash? Are you talking like life-changing crash? I have, in fact.
Your world just gets flipped.
On my neck, back, head, splatter.
Where's my life insurance policy?
You know, skis start coming off, your boots act as like they just kind of propel you around in circles, and you start cartwheeling, we call it, and you just start, you know, tomahawking, and you're doing like, you know, 3 cartwheels before your head hits the ground.
Looking at the landing, and I'm like, oh man, this better be softer than everything else so far, and it isn't.
Tatered straight in.
At some point, you just have to give up and realize that, you know, you're going down.
There's really not much you can do. You kind of just have to stay as limber as possible and hope it ends with a nice big powder patch.
They're obsessed with limit pushing. An obsession is an opportunity to shorten your lifespan.
He thinks I'm crazy, but yeah.
Why would anyone push their limits or take risks?
You know, there's a lot of reasons for it. Because it's sweet.
Oftentimes, people, they just aren't using their head very much, you know?
Thinking about, God, man, I hope I'm on the right spot, and I hope that this cliff isn't really that big.
Just trying to talk yourself into doing something that your genes for self-preservation say that you shouldn't be doing.
To be honest with you, like, I don't even know why I do it. It's just because there's nothing else better to do.
Why did I do this? And if I get out of here, I won't do this again, but then time goes by and you do it again.
Why would I put myself at risk like this personally? Because it's fun.
I mean, danger's at your fingertips every day. I mean, whether you're driving a car down the road or you know, riding a chairlift and the cable falls off. I mean, when your time's up, your time's up.
You know, you're kind of always reaching for that next thing that's a little further, and you want to see how you basically step up to that challenge.
What are you going to do with the rest of your life now that you've done that, Hunter? What's it going to be like? Oh, God, these kids. The Hunter perspective is he wants to go to the best school. And the reality perspective based on his grade performance is that he better take whatever is offered to him, period.
Dental school, I didn't get in on my first time around. My OChem score was a little low on the DAT.
I didn't know that he was planning to go to dental school. I find that interesting. I wouldn't necessarily have seen that on his horizon as far as an interest.
See, he doesn't take it far enough. He's in his mind, I've done the skiing, but I'm still going to ski every day until I get into dental school. But that's not the point.
I wanted to see that I could get through semester 2 of fully loaded schedule with intense classes.
That's a good one. Have you worked in a dental office lately? Have you volunteered in a medical facility lately? Have you gone back and taken some refresher courses in the areas that you were the weakest in? Have you, been calling and writing and pushing the envelope as hard as you can, day in and day out? Is that your passion? Do you stay up all night with burning the midnight oil, trying to improve yourself in that area of your life? Or not? I mean, is that what you want, or are you just kidding me? Or you're kidding yourself?
You can't have it all forever, I don't think, the mountain lifestyle. Some people can. But if you have any interest in having a family or a wife or all the things that go with that, chances are you're not going to be able to just keep existing as a mountain goat.
Thought he's had some pretty nice girlfriends, and that I'd be happy to have as a family member. So that isn't happening, and I could speculate forever on why.
No, I don't think it's been his problem with skiing. I think it's been his problem with commitment.
But I think the commitment thing is out the window for sure. It's a tough deal for anybody. You know, it's either, you know, a lot of time, you know, Sunday you're gonna hang out with the lady and take her to breakfast, or you're gonna go ski powder. You gotta weigh those things out.
The mountains provide an escape from our everyday life, and it's easier to solve all your problems. You can just go there and makes everything right.
What if it were like heroin? You know, if this is an addiction that he has to have a pat on the back every time he makes a good run, and he can't leave that because he's addicted to that.
I see why people have the drug addiction parallel with it, because you're never satiated, and as you do it longer and longer, all you do is want something that's bigger and harder and more dangerous.
And they go out and climb these incredible mountains until they one day don't come home. That's just how it is. They push the envelope, and old Mother Nature takes them out.
Carl and I were skiing one of our favorite runs. We've skied it hundreds of times when the crown cracked probably 1.5 feet deep, maybe 2 feet, but 10 or 15 feet above him.
You could just start seeing the snow start to spiderweb, just cracks forming all over.
And he tried skiing out of it, but it just, he was kind of on top of the slab and lost his balance.
Caught my feet and rolled me over frontwards. And yeah, just that was it.
And it's trying to take you down the hill. It's trying to beat you up. It's, you know, over 20% of the fatalities are from trauma alone.
I mean, you could just break your neck in the course of the avalanche, or suffer, you know, a broken femur, or have a lot of trauma just by the turbulence of the avalanche.
As I tucked over, I was like, holy, this is it. I'm probably gonna either die or gonna break my legs or my back or everything. And
you put everything into it to fight for the top and to get out of it and to survive.
And it was all white after that. It's just like being in a dishwasher.
And got swept down probably 1,500 feet, and off of, in the middle, in the crux, there was probably a 20 to 30 foot cliff.
Things happen fast, and you don't want to be buried. The snow's kind of heating up in its own way as it's moving, too. When it comes to rest, you can kind of think of it like concrete. That stuff was just loose-moving, fast-moving snow a second ago. And, man, that thing comes to rest, and it super cools, and it's hard.
It's all packed in. It's like being in the center of a compacted snowball. So whatever position you're in when that avalanche stops, if you're like this, you're not going to be able to move.
But what the primary reason people die in avalanches is because they suffocate, because the snow blows in their throat and settles around them and they can't breathe anymore. So, yeah, doesn't sound like a very good way to go to me.
I just remember just thinking in my head, I'm just not dying today. I'm not dying today. And yeah, that's enough to, yeah. I mean, I only want to go through that once.
It's kind of scary because I thought I would always be the one to be caught in an avalanche.
I didn't want to do any of that anymore. None of it was worth it to that degree. I was just like, nah, I want to ski, have fun, go home at the end of the day, you know, see my friends, and that means the most.
Dan had the unfortunate luck to fall into a crevasse in Alaska. In an effort to save himself, which is pretty good cat-like reflexes, put his arm out and caught himself, which is good, saved him from falling further into the crevasse, maybe risking death, but caused some pretty serious damage to the shoulder.
It's the little ones that are just big enough for a human to fall into that are the scary ones, because they're not always easy to see. A lot of times they're covered up with snow, and it's like a landmine. You don't know you're on it till it's too late.
You know, if you've poured your life essence into becoming this great alpinist, and then in a moment that's taken away, it's kind of hard to drum up the desire to become a fantastic chess player or, you know, clown. You know, what do you do from there?
When you get injured and you're no longer the badass climber or the badass skier, suddenly you just become a normal painter. And that's hard to swallow. And that's not an easy thing to deal with. Another couple near-death experiences which could turn anyone off, I think.
Dan's situation shows you how that you can make one small mistake and then all of a sudden you can't do the things that you love to do anymore. It's always discouraging when one of your friends gets hurt, seriously hurt. It's happened to a couple friends. I've had a couple friends die, and it always makes you take a step back, slow down, not push things quite as hard.
I mean, I don't even know if I have the desire to climb like that anymore. I don't want to get hurt again.
After seeing what happened to Carl and Dan, I don't know if I really want to ski the Grand anymore. Yeah, I'm just kind of tired of having no money and, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. So it's time to make a little money, raise a family, settle down. I'm looking at a lot of my friends, and they're all getting hurt, and so it's yeah. Before I get really hurt, and I think I'll yeah, get into dental school and make a little money.
There's a point in your life where you start to think, you know, well, what if my knees don't hold up? Or what if, you know, I have an injury that keeps me from working? I got to find something else I can do in the meantime or in the long term.
You know, and he is getting a little older. And we're all growing up, unfortunately.
I think it's time for him to move on to those other challenges. It can be just as exciting as skiing the Grand if you look at it that way.
You know, the existence that you have at being a great skier but not making any money at it, isn't what he wants for the rest of his life. You know, maybe he didn't want to have 3 roommates and a car that breaks down every other day. I don't know.
To get a career, yeah, I can see why, you know, you want a career, but if that makes you happy, do it.
He has high aspirations. I think doesn't want to be in middle of the road, you know. He wants to be somewhere on the top as far as he wants to be a dentist, for instance. You know, he could easily be a nurse, but no problem. Like, he is complete, his medical background's great, and just has a common sense for it. So I know he could do that easy, but he doesn't want that. And that would allow him to stay here and live here, but he wants to be more.
I've given my whole life to skiing in these mountains, so no matter what the risks or sacrifices, I can't just walk away from it. I gotta make my try for the grand.
I respect him for it, and the way I lived my life was different than the way he lives his. So I can't fault him for what he does. It's a great passion. People love their passion, and I think if that's what he wants out of his life, then so be it.
I think in his mind, he's more focused on trying to figure out a way to be here and be successful in his mind.
A success is a personal definition. Your own personal goals, right? And whatever they are. If you are honest to that, then you're a success.
We're all human, you know, and we can all get hurt. But over time, that starts to fade, and the pain starts to fade, and everything you had to go through starts to fade, and you start to think about maybe what if? Maybe I can get back up there and climb again. Maybe I'm not shattered, you know? Maybe there is a silver lining to this situation, and I will get back into those mountains and be able to do what I used to do. Up there, you're just totally in the moment. That's what it's worth. It makes you feel alive. And so Hunter and I are going to go for it. Tomorrow, we're going to make an attempt on the Grand.
That pinnacle of skiing the Grand is wonderful. If he can do it, that's great. I'm proud of him.
Can pull this off, he should be able to pull off dental school, you would think.
You know, I always hearken back to a quote from Mark Twain. And he says, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment.